Welcome to the deep dive. If you're out there, maybe a budding freelancer, perhaps a solo app developer with that, entrepreneurial itch,
Yeah,
or maybe you're simply a Pythonista looking to really leverage AI to build profitable ventures, well, you have absolutely landed in the right place.
definitely.
We know the world of AI and freelancing can feel less like an exciting frontier and more like a tsunami of information.
Oh, totally. It really can.
One minute you're trying to build something innovative, the next you're just drowning in new model updates, API changes, and these wildly fluctuating pricing structures. It can be, well, overwhelming.
It genuinely can, yeah, and that overwhelm is real. But, beneath all that swirling noise, there's this incredible, unprecedented opportunity.
Right.
It's a chance to build genuinely profitable applications and, maybe most importantly for many listening, to gain significant financial independence. That's really the core of what we're focusing on today, empowering you to, well, seize that opportunity.
Exactly. Our mission today is to cut through that noise with, surgical precision. This deep dive isn't just some general overview. It's a practical roadmap specifically tailored for Python developers looking to navigate the current trends in AI.
Mhm.
We are zeroing in on actionable technical strategies, things designed to help you generate more income, no fluff, no philosophical debates, just clear concepts, the right tools, and efficient strategies for building profitable applications quickly and, effectively.
And we've really pulled from a rich and diverse stack of sources for this one.
Yeah.
We've synthesized insights from in-depth expert discussions on the latest AI coding tools and their rapidly evolving pricing models.
Yeah, that's key.
We've extracted key takeaways from comprehensive roadmaps specifically designed for aspiring and current Python developers in this AI space. And critically, we've integrated invaluable insights directly from successful solo entrepreneurs, people who have actually walked this path, built profitable apps, and mastered the art of app development and, crucially, marketing. It's a powerful blend, I think, of real-world experience, technical know-how, and strategic, actionable advice.
Okay, so let's unpack this immediately because the first major shift we need to talk about, one that's fundamentally reshaping the landscape, is the changing economics of AI-powered coding. Remember that whole $20 a month for vibe coding plan, that era?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Feels like ages ago now.
Right. Well, our sources are making it abundantly clear. For anyone serious about building, it's effectively, well, it's dead.
That's a crucial observation. The landscape has undergone a seismic shift. We've seen this dramatic pivot in AI coding tool pricing, especially with platforms like Cursor.
Mm-hmm.
What used to feel like an almost unlimited low-cost playground for developers is rapidly transforming into a far more tiered and, let's be honest, significantly more expensive environment.
Yeah.
For a casual user, maybe someone just experimenting, that $20 might still grant you basic access, sure. But if you're seriously building production-ready applications, it's simply no longer viable for heavy, consistent usage.
It's a fundamental redefinition, isn't it? That $20 a month for vibe coding is now truly just an experimentation tier. If you're building a business, you're looking at a completely different league.
Totally different.
We're seeing the introduction of much higher tier plans, think OpenAI's Pro plan, which can hit $200 a month for power users, or new offerings from Cloud Code, and Cursor's own premium plans.
Right.
The profound implication for a solo developer or a freelancer is this. You absolutely must transition your mindset from AI as a free perk to AI as a utility, like electricity or cloud hosting.
Exactly. It's an operational cost now.
It demands the same rigorous cost optimization mindset you'd apply to, say, your AWS bill. Our sources highlight, for example, that just 675 requests on Claude Sonnet can be used up incredibly quickly.
Oh, easily.
If you're a heavy user, constantly pushing code, iterating, debugging, you might be looking at needing 6,000 or maybe even more requests in a month. This isn't just about paying more, it's about treating your AI usage as a core operational expense that needs meticulous management.
And that leads us directly to a critically important point. Truly understanding the nuances of the different AI models and their associated costs.
Okay.
Let's take Claude Sonnet versus Claude Opus, for instance. Experts consistently delineate their distinct roles in the development workflow. Opus, it seems, is primarily designed for the planning phase.
Right. The high-level thinking.
Exactly. Imagine you're outlining a complex architectural plan for a new feature or iterating on a high-level design. That's where Opus shines, perhaps by hitting Shift plus Tab twice in your IDE to refine a strategy, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Sonnet, on the other hand, is more like the workhorse. It's for the implementation phase, the actual code generation, the rapid iteration of specific functions, the debugging.
And the cost discrepancies here are truly stark, aren't they? This illustrates just how critical this distinction is for your bottom line as a freelancer or solo dev.
Absolutely crucial.
Opus output, because it's doing more complex reasoning, can run you as much as 75 parts per $1 million tokens for output, which is a lot.
It adds up fast.
Meanwhile, cheaper models, which are perfectly capable for implementation tasks, might be as low as, what, 50 secs per million tokens?
Something like that, yeah. It's a massive difference.
This isn't a small gap. It's a 150-fold cost difference. If you're paying top dollar for code generation that a much cheaper model could handle just as effectively, you're literally, well, you're burning money.
You are.
Understanding this lets you optimize your spend and directly impacts your project profitability.
Absolutely. And beyond the per token cost, there are also these significant usage limitations, often called rate limits.
Yeah, the rate limits, yeah.
For models like Quad Code, say on a Max Pro plan at maybe $100 a month, users might be able to send approximately 50 to 200 prompts every 5 hours.
Which sounds like a lot initially, maybe.
It does, but a truly heavy user, someone who's deep in a coding flow, pushing out a complex feature, maybe running multiple agents, they can hit those limits surprisingly fast.
Right, interrupts your flow.
Totally. To avoid interruptions and maintain that peak productivity, you might quickly find yourself needing to step up to the $200 a month plan. That offers a more generous allowance, maybe around 900 messages every 5 hours, which effectively removes most practical limits for really intense coding sessions.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting and directly impacts your wallet, I think. The model switching strategy.
Yes, this is key.
This isn't just some technical trick. It's actually a profit-maximizing workflow. Experienced developers emphasize using Opus for that high-level critical planning, setting the architectural direction, outlining complex steps, brainstorming solutions.
The heavy lifting, conceptually.
Exactly. Then, once that intelligent plan is solid and the hard thinking is done, you immediately switch to a cheaper, more cost-effective model like Sonnet for the actual high-volume implementation.
Within that same 5-hour loop or rate limit window.
Precisely. This strategy optimizes your usage by ensuring you pay for the premium intelligence only when you truly need it. If you're a freelancer billing by a project, or even by time, this approach can dramatically reduce your operational costs.
Which translates directly into higher profit margins.
Yeah, more money in your pocket.
That sounds incredibly efficient, a real potential game changer for solo developers. But are there any common pitfalls developers should watch out for? When you're constantly switching models or trying to optimize like this, does it add cognitive load or maybe introduce subtle inconsistencies?
That's a really sharp question. Yeah, the main pitfall is probably not being rigorous enough with your plan.
Okay.
If you switch too early, before Opus has truly thought through the complex edge cases, you might end up spending more time debugging with Sonnet, which kind of negates the cost savings.
Right. Penny wise, pound foolish.
Exactly. It's about having clear direction before you switch. Also, always ensure the context window is maintained. If you start a fresh chat with Sonnet, it won't remember the high-level Opus planning, leading to, well, suboptimal code.
Makes sense. Context is king.
But when you do it correctly, the payoff is substantial. You get the brain power of the most advanced models for the hardest parts, and the efficiency of cheaper models for the grunt work.
Okay, that's clear. Now let's dive into some of the key AI-powered integrated development environments, the IDEs, and their features. Because the specific tools you choose really impact your workflow, your efficiency, and, yeah, your costs.
For sure.
Cursor, for instance, comes up a lot. It's a very popular AI code editor. Its primary strength seems to lie in its deep integration with various AI models and its sort of innovative features like background agents and a bug bot.
Right. These aren't just fancy names.
No, apparently they actively work in the background, trying to anticipate your needs and helping you write, refactor, and debug code much faster.
Yeah, Cursor Ultra, their higher tier, offers a substantial 4,500 Sonnet requests for $200 a month, which, again, sounds like a lot.
But as we said, heavy users.
Right, heavy users can blow through that surprisingly fast, especially if they're not being strategic. One thing our sources caution about with Cursor is its auto mode.
Oh, interesting. Why?
Well, while it promises convenience, auto mode might just route your requests to the cheapest available model, which could be something like GPT 4.1.
Which might not be the best tool for the job.
Exactly. It isn't always optimal for specific complex tasks. If you're tackling something critical or nuanced, Manually selecting the most appropriate model for that specific job will often lead to far more accurate and consistent results, which saves you debugging time and therefore money down the line.
A truly powerful feature within Cursor, though, one that directly addresses this challenge of getting useful AI output, is the ability to auto-generate and utilize Cursor rules.
Yes, the rules. Explain those.
Think of these rules as like a highly detailed, dynamic briefing for your AI copilot. They let you provide additional specific context to the large language model.
Like what kind of context?
Well, it could include your exact tech stack, the precise structure of your product, your team's specific coding conventions, or even your preferred architectural patterns.
Okay, so really tailored.
Very tailored. By feeding the LLM this detailed real-time context, you significantly improve the performance and relevance of its output. The generated code becomes much more useful, aligns better with your project, and dramatically reduces the need for extensive manual edits.
Which again saves time and tokens. It all comes back to efficiency.
It really does.
Now, beyond Cursor, another tool that's gaining significant traction, particularly maybe for its convenience, is the Claude Code CLI. That's the command line interface.
Right, for terminal fans.
Yeah. This is highlighted for its greater efficiency, especially for what's known as agentic coding. When you're working with a CLI, it can often infer context about your project structure without you constantly having to, highlight specific files, functions, or blocks of code.
Which you might need to do with a more visual agent in a traditional IDE.
Exactly. This reduces the manual overhead, streamlines your workflow, and allows the AI to understand your project environment with far less explicit input from you.
That's fascinating. You keep mentioning agentic coding. Could you maybe elaborate on what that truly means for a Python developer beyond just the convenience of the CLI? What's the practical difference compared to, say, just asking ChatGPT to generate a code snippet?
That's a fantastic distinction, yeah. We'll dive deeper into Agentic AI as a core concept in just a moment, but in the context of coding, it essentially means the AI isn't just generating code based on a single prompt. It's actively understanding your project. With Claude Code CLI, for example, it can use its, let's call them body parts, internal tools or external commands to actually read your files, understand the file structure, maybe even run a local test before suggesting code.
Wow, so it's more interactive with the environment.
Exactly. It's a more proactive, context-aware copilot that can iterate and correct itself within the environment rather than just spitting out a single response based on limited info.
Understood. That sounds powerful. And as you consider your toolkit, we have several alternatives and comparisons that are worth noting, right?
Definitely. GitHub Copilot Pro, for instance, offers premium requests that leverage models like Sonnet 4 or GPT-4o. So it provides a similar level of advanced code generation power to something like Cursor Ultra.
But maybe not the same deep integration.
Often, yeah. Copilot Pro often lacks that deeper integrated project understanding that Cursor can provide directly within the IDE environment itself.
Okay. What else?
Then there's Augment Developer Code. This one offers specific agentic messages, typically around 600 of them, for a higher price point.
Right.
This tool is noted for utilizing many models rather than exclusively relying on one, which is interesting. And some users actually prefer its more hands-off instruction style for agentic tasks, where you sort of give it a high-level goal and let it figure out the sub-steps itself.
More delegation.
Kind of, yeah. And for those keeping a keen eye on costs and exploring all options, Refact AI gets mentioned by some as a fully free AI software engineer.
Free, that definitely contrasts the trend.
It really does. It presents a compelling alternative to the rising AI service costs we've been discussing. And looking towards the future, there's open code.
Ah, the open source angle.
Exactly. It's an open source solution and a direct competitor to Cloud Code that aims to eventually allow local model usage. If this gains significant traction, it could lead to a substantial reduction in operational costs for developers over time.
Because you wouldn't be as reliant on external token-metered APIs.
Precisely. You'd shift the computation to your own hardware, potentially.
It's crucial to understand, though, that not all models are created equal, and developer experiences can vary wildly. Gemini 2.5 Pro, for example, seems to get mixed reviews in the developer community.
Yeah, what's the word on Gemini?
Well, while some users find it quite useful for certain tasks, others are less impressed. One source candidly stated it can sometimes be good at cheating and convincing me that its code is better than what it outputs, even when it's not.
Ouch. That sounds frustrating.
And potentially costly. It's also been noted that Gemini 2.5 Pro can occasionally get stuck in infinite loops if not carefully managed.
Oh, no.
which can quickly consume your precious tokens and budget without producing any useful output. That's an expensive learning experience you want to avoid.
Yeah, you definitely want to avoid an AI burning through your budget with an infinite loop. That's nightmare fuel for a freelancer. On a more positive note, ChatGPT 4.0, often referred to as O3, is highlighted as potentially the best performing model for agentic web search.
Okay, agentic web search. Interesting.
Yeah, this model is apparently exceptionally capable of sophisticated reasoning and can effectively hand off tasks for real-time web lookup.
So it can pull in current info.
Exactly. This makes it particularly powerful for agentic coding when you combine it with external documentation and web queries. Imagine an AI that can not only generate code, but also instantly look up the latest API documentation, understand a complex library, or pull in real-time information from the web to inform its code generation.
That capability significantly elevates its effectiveness as a coding copilot. It's not just working from its training data.
Right. It's much more dynamic.
Okay, moving from the tools themselves into building your broader AI-powered Python toolkit. Python stands out as the absolutely core language for anyone looking to enter this space, especially as a solo developer or freelancer aiming to, monetize their skills and build applications.
So why Python? Let's really hammer this home. Our sources make it unequivocally clear. It's widely considered the best for beginners. Why? Because of its readability and relatively simple syntax.
It's just easier to pick up.
Much easier. It's also often referred to as a dream job language, and for good reason. There's incredibly high demand. Junior Python developers can potentially earn an average starting salary of, $92,000 per year?
That's a strong starting point.
Definitely. And beyond the financial incentive, it boasts a remarkably strong, supportive, and active community, which is just invaluable when you're learning, hitting roadblocks, or looking for collaborators.
That community aspect is huge. Furthermore, Python's inherent simplicity and intuitive syntax make it significantly easier and faster to learn compared to many other programming languages.
Less boilerplate, less confusion.
Exactly. Its verbosity, or lack thereof, I guess, means you can achieve highly complex tasks with fewer lines of code. That's a major advantage during time-constrained development cycles or even in coding interviews.
Right.
And perhaps most critically for our discussion today, Python offers this incredibly rich and expansive ecosystem of libraries and tools. Just massive.
The libraries are key.
This versatility makes it ideal for a vast array of applications, from robust web development to complex data science, sophisticated machine learning models, and of course the cutting edge of artificial intelligence. This rich ecosystem means you can basically build almost anything you can imagine.
Okay, now, if your ambition is to land your first Python job within, say, 6 months, which our sources suggest is a very achievable goal with dedication, here's a clear, actionable learning path directly derived from successful practitioners.
All right, let's break it down.
First, start with Python basics. Focus on free, high-quality resources. Good examples include Google's Python class, Really Practical, or the incredibly popular book, Automate the Boring Stuff with Python.
Both great starting points.
These will give you an excellent hands-on foundation. From there, you need to move into object-oriented programming, or OOP, principles. Understanding data types, control flow functions, this is absolutely essential for building scalable and maintainable AI applications later on.
Foundational stuff. Following that, you'll need to master data structures and algorithms. And this isn't just, academic theory. It's crucial for optimizing AI models, making sure they run efficiently and perform well, particularly as you scale.
Yeah, performance matters.
Deeply familiarize yourself with concepts like lists, stacks, queues, trees, sorting algorithms, searching algorithms. Plan for about maybe 4 to 6 intense weeks just on this segment.
Okay, dedicated time.
Then, pivot your focus to the Python libraries, specifically designed for AI and machine learning. This means NumPy for numerical operations, TensorFlow and PyTorch for building and training deep learning models, and Pandas for robust data manipulation and analysis. Expect another maybe 4 to 8 weeks for this deeper dive into the AI ecosystem.
And don't just study passively. That's a huge takeaway. Get practical, hands-on experience that you can actually show off.
Like projects.
Yes, and participate actively in hackathons. These events are fantastic for working in diverse teams, tackling real-world problems under pressure, and critically, building your professional network.
Networking is key.
Seriously, it's a superb way to demonstrate your ability to collaborate and deliver in a team environment, even if you aim to be solo later. Additionally, make it a daily habit to practice coding on platforms like LeetCode or CodeWars.
Daily practice.
Daily, focus on easy to medium level questions initially. Consistent practice here will rapidly boost your problem-solving abilities, hone your debugging skills, and just make you much faster at translating ideas into working code.
Muscle memory for coding. Finally, as you approach that 6-month mark, prepare meticulously for interviews.
Yeah.
Start by creating a strong GitHub or GitLab portfolio. Showcase all the projects you've worked on, even the small ones. This is your digital resume.
Absolutely critical.
Craft a well-prepared, concise resume that prominently links to your online portfolio. Then, actively seek out interviews, even with companies you might not be desperately keen on joining initially.
Why? Just for practice.
Exactly. The main purpose at this stage, particularly for your first few interviews, is to learn from the experience. You'll likely stumble or even fail your first few, and that is entirely normal and expected.
Takes the pressure off a bit.
It should. Each interview is an invaluable opportunity to refine your communication, your problem solving under pressure, and your technical explanation skills.
Okay, good advice. Beyond just learning the Python language itself, if you're serious about building robust, deployable applications, the kind you can actually sell or make money from, you'll need to understand back-end development with Python. This is foundational.
The engine room.
Totally. Python offers several popular and powerful frameworks specifically for back-end web development. Think Django, which is a high-level framework encouraging rapid development, Flask, a lightweight micro-framework for more flexible projects, and FastAPI, which is excellent for building high-performance APIs really quickly.
Different tools for different jobs.
Right. These frameworks streamline the entire process of building the server-side logic of your applications.
And critically, back-end development almost always involves creating APIs, application programming interfaces. These are the crucial communication channels, allowing different parts of your application, or even other applications entirely, to retrieve or update data.
The plumbing.
Essentially, yeah. Understanding precisely how the backend works is fundamental for successful front-end interaction, ensuring your app can communicate effectively, retrieve information from its data sources, and store new data reliably.
And as a backend developer, even if you're a solo founder, learning about DevOps basics is incredibly beneficial. It directly impacts your ability to deploy and maintain your applications efficiently.
Even for one person.
Especially for one person. You need efficiency. This includes mastering Docker for containerization, making sure your app runs consistently everywhere, from your laptop to the cloud.
Avoids the works on my machine problem.
Exactly. Then there's Kubernetes for orchestrating those containers, especially as your application scales, though maybe overkill initially for solo devs. And crucially, CI/CD pipelines, continuous integration, and continuous deployment.
Automation.
Yes. Using tools like GitHub Actions for automated testing and seamless deployment via services like Netlify or Vercel. Embracing CI/CD means you can push updates faster, with fewer manual errors, dramatically accelerating your iteration cycles, which is vital when you're trying to ship fast.
Furthermore, familiarity with at least one major cloud provider like Amazon Web Services, AWS, Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure is pretty much essential for deploying applications at scale and making them accessible to your users worldwide.
Gotta host it somewhere.
Right. Each platform offers distinct advantages, but understanding the basics of cloud hosting, databases, authentication, that stuff, is invaluable. And for efficient, highly scalable backend solutions, particularly for solo developers who want to minimize operational overhead.
Like server costs.
Exactly. Exploring serverless architecture, such as serverless cloud functions, can provide significant advantages. It lets you pay only for the compute time you actually use without managing servers yourself.
Which can save a lot of money and hassle early on. Okay, now let's talk about some key AI concepts. These are absolutely vital for developers to not just recognize, but truly understand and leverage in this new landscape. First up, Agentic AI versus generative AI.
Big difference here.
Huge. For a long time, what we've mostly experienced, particularly with popular tools like ChatGPT, is generative AI. Think of it like a brilliant but sedentary professor.
Okay, I like that analogy.
This professor takes your input, processes it, and gives you an output primarily predicting the next word, sentence, or line of code. It's excellent at what it does, but it fundamentally lacks the ability to take action independently. It can tell you what to do, but it can't do it.
Right, it doesn't have hands or feet. This is precisely where Agentic AI enters the picture, representing kind of the next frontier. Imagine that same brilliant professor, but now they have body parts, tools, and the ability to take actions.
Okay, so it can do things.
Exactly. An AI agent is given a defined goal. It then plans the necessary steps to achieve that goal, can actually take actions in the real world, or the digital world, uses memory to learn from previous interactions and maintain context, and possesses sophisticated reasoning capabilities for reflection and self-correction.
Can you give an example?
Sure. An agentic AI recruiter isn't just generating text about resumes. It can actively scan incoming resumes, compose and send personalized email responses, and even schedule interviews directly on your calendar.
Wow.
Or a customer support agent. It can not only answer tickets but learn from past interactions, update knowledge bases automatically, and hand off complex issues with full context to a human. You could even build a multi-step AI agent specifically for tasks like planning an entire podcast season.
Okay, that's a significant leap. Now, here's where it gets really practical and directly addresses a major pain point for anyone using LLMs. Retrieval, augmented generation, or RAG pipelines.
RAG. Very important.
What's the fundamental purpose of ARG? It's to enable large language models to provide far more accurate, relevant, and context-specific answers by referencing external custom data.
Your own data.
Exactly. Think about your company's internal PDFs, specific Excel sheets with proprietary data, or your own private research notes. This is absolutely critical for avoiding those embarrassing and often costly hallucinations.
Where the AI just makes stuff up.
Right. Which is common with general LLMs that only have access to their broad training data and not your specific up-to-date information.
So how does a RAG pipeline actually work? It typically comprises several distinct interconnected components. First, you have the indexer.
Okay, indexer.
This component reads your raw documents, text files, PDFs, web pages, whatever, and intelligently splits them into smaller, digestible chunks.
Makes sense. Break it down.
Next, the data store or database comes into play. This is where those chunks are stored along with their embeddings. Think of embeddings as numerical representations of text. Essentially, the AI converts the meaning of each chunk into a point in this vast, multidimensional conceptual space.
So similar ideas are close together numerically.
Precisely. Then, when a user asks a question, the retriever takes that question, converts it to an embedding, and then efficiently searches the data store for the most relevant chunks based on that semantic similarity.
Finds the closest matches.
Right. Finally, the response generator combines these retrieved relevant chunks of information with the original user question. This augmented prompt is then fed to an LLM, which generates a precise, contextually rich, and accurate answer, grounded in your specific data.
The practical application here is truly immense, isn't it? As a solo developer, you could use RA to build incredibly powerful chatbots for highly specific knowledge bases.
Like what?
Imagine a bot that can instantly provide detailed information about a fictional town for a game you're building, or answer every possible FAQ for a niche business using their own documents.
That saves a ton of support time.
Exactly. And while you can certainly build a basic R pipeline in Python from scratch, for more advanced production-ready systems, powerful frameworks like LangChain and Llama Index exist.
Right, frameworks speed things up.
They abstract away much of the complexity, allowing you to quickly implement this crucial functionality and build sophisticated, customized knowledge agents without reinventing the wheel every time.
Another critically important concept for developers leveraging AI, especially in their coding environment, is the Model Context Protocol, or MCP.
MCP. Okay, what's that?
This protocol is designed to standardize communication between AI tools, specifically those integrated into your code editor and your back-end functionalities.
What does that mean practically for me as a Python dev?
It means that large language models operating within your development environment, like inside Cursor maybe, can seamlessly call custom tools that you define and expose via an MCP server.
Custom tools?
Yeah.
Like functions I write.
Exactly. Imagine this concrete scenario. You create custom Python functions that are exposed through your MCP server. These functions might allow an LLM to automatically create a new GitHub issue based on a comment, or send a templated email to a client, or even interact directly with specific databases like Supabase.
So the AI could check my database schema.
Yeah, or inspect table layouts, or even make data modifications, all through natural language prompts within your editor.
Wow.
This dramatically enhances the AI's understanding and its ability to actively manipulate and assist within your specific project environment. It transforms it from just a passive code generator into a true active participant in your development workflow.
That saves immense amounts of time and reduces that constant context switching, right?
Totally. Keeps you in the flow. And building on that, we're witnessing the rise of multi-agent systems, this concept often referred to as AI squads.
ASOAXTRADS. Sounds collaborative.
It is. This involves orchestrating multiple specialized AI agents to work collaboratively on different parts of a larger task. Think about it. One agent might be dedicated to managing your incoming emails, another to performing complex data analysis, and yet another focused purely on generating creative ideas or drafting content.
So specialized roles for AI.
Exactly. These sophisticated systems, like those being integrated into platforms such as Microsoft Teams, allow for incredibly high-level intent delegation, meaning you can articulate a complex goal.
Like plan my product launch.
Right, and trust the collective intelligence of the agents to break it down, assign tasks, and execute. Crucially, they also provide inspectable work artifacts.
Meaning you can see their work.
Yeah, you can review the intermediate steps and outputs of each agent. This builds trust in your AI coworkers because you can understand their reasoning and progress.
Transparency, okay. And we absolutely have to talk about how AI is revolutionizing design, because this directly impacts how fast you can ship and monetize.
Speeding up the front end.
Totally. Leveraging AI for UI design can dramatically accelerate your app development. You can now use pre-built design templates, like those offered by ShadCM components, for really rapid UI development.
Using existing building blocks.
Exactly. This approach saves immense amounts of time and, interestingly, tokens those computational costs for AI models on debugging and iterating design code. One powerful example mentioned is the Ray Transcribes website, which was apparently built astonishingly quickly using such a template. Just shows the efficiency gains.
Vercel V0 is another excellent tool in this case, representing kind of a new paradigm for UI prototyping. You simply describe your desired user interface in plain language.
Like a login form with a dark theme and a Remember Me checkbox.
Exactly like that. And V0 outputs a functional production-ready React component. This is fantastic for ultra-fast UI prototyping. It allows you to visualize and iterate on designs at lightning speed without writing a single line of actual UI code initially.
That's amazing for quick mockups.
Similarly, tools like Magic Patterns allow you to use screenshots of competitor UIs, or maybe Mobin, which is a library of real-world UI patterns, to inform your design flow.
To learn from existing designs.
Yeah, you feed it a visual reference, and it can then generate the actual code that mimics or adapts that UI, ensuring consistency and adherence to established design patterns.
And then there's Framer and Wireframer. These are AI-powered website builders that take the concept even further, right?
They do. They can generate full, responsive layouts for entire websites just from a text description.
So you could say, I need a marketing website for a SaaS product that helps freelancers manage invoices with dark mode and a clear call to action.
And it delivers a complete interactive site structure. This capability significantly speeds up the entire website design process. It allows solo developers to go from a conceptual idea to a functional, visually appealing layout in minutes, not days or weeks.
The key here isn't reinventing the wheel, is it? It's leveraging AI to provide a robust, customizable starting point that drastically cuts down that initial development time.
Exactly. Get you 80% of the way there fast.
Yeah.
Now let's shift our focus a bit to accelerating app development and, crucially, monetization for solo entrepreneurs. This requires a significant mindset shift, I think, that goes beyond just technical proficiency.
Right. It's not just about code.
You need to transform from being simply a developer into being a keen problem solver.
This is the core principle, isn't it? The thing that underlies every profitable app. Truly successful applications stem from deeply understanding and rigorously solving real problems for your users.
That's where the value is.
Whether your app saves them precious time, helps them avoid a major pain point, or directly helps them make more money, that's where the undeniable value lies. And that's where people are willing to pay.
Absolutely.
The advice we've synthesized from successful entrepreneurs is crystal clear. Do not build cool features with zero idea who it was for.
Guilty as charged, probably at some point.
We've all been there. Instead, before you write a single line of code, define precisely who your app is for, what specific acute problem it solves, and what success looks like for both you and your user, be it recurring revenue, high user retention, or just overwhelmingly positive feedback.
A truly crucial piece of advice for solo entrepreneurs, one that requires a real shift in perspective, is to ship early, iterate fast.
The classic lean startup mantra.
Exactly. You must let go of the pursuit of unattainable perfection. The goal is to ship a minimum viable product, or MVP, or even what some call a smallest lovable core, or SLC.
SLC, I like that. Smallest lovable core?
The objective is to release something that completes one main task effectively, reliably, and ideally with a bit of delight. Then, quickly gather feedback from your earliest users and iterate at a rapid pace. As one of our sources famously puts it, if you're not embarrassed by your first version, you ship too late.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That feeling of slight embarrassment is actually a sign you're moving fast enough.
It's a good sign.
Getting your idea into the hands of real users, yes, that embarrassment is your badge of honor. Another vital point, especially for solo entrepreneurs in a crowded market, is intense niche focus.
Narrow.
Really narrow. You need to tune your tunables and ruthlessly remove distractions. Focus on a very specific demographic with a clear, measurable outcome. For instance, instead of building just a general fitness app, think about building a 5-minute workout planner exclusively for busy pregnant yoga instructors.
Wow, that's specific.
Hyper-specific. This hyper-focus creates incredibly intense loyalty among that specific user base, and, critically, a much higher willingness to pay because you're solving a very specific, painful problem for a clearly defined group.
They feel seen.
Exactly. These apps, when successful, become what our sources call digital properties, assets that can pay dividends over time, much like real estate, but without the physical overhead and with incredible scalability potential.
Digital real estate. I like it. Now let's talk about leveraging AI specifically for that rapid development and testing, because this is where the new economics of AI truly empower the solo founder.
Right, making one person more productive.
Think of AI, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, or a deeply integrated IDE like Cursor, not just as a code generator or debugger, but as your personal senior dev on standby 24/7.
Always available mentor.
Yeah. Use it to clarify complex concepts you're wrestling with, brainstorm innovative solutions, or even to pressure test your own architectural thinking. This capability dramatically amplifies your individual productivity, allowing you to achieve what once really required a small team.
For an agentic coding workflow, the mindset fundamentally shifts, doesn't it? It goes from asking the AI to just vibe code everything.
Which can lead anywhere.
Right. To knowing the plan and then having the AI get the code as fast as possible. It's about providing clear, precise direction, not just vague requests. And speaking of clear direction, prompt engineering best practices are paramount for extracting maximum value.
Garbage in, garbage out still applies.
Absolutely. Always add a confidence clause to your prompts. Something like, do not make any changes until you have 95% confidence in the solution. If you're unsure, ask me follow-up questions to clarify.
That's smart. A guardrail.
It's a powerful technique. It prevents the AI from generating spaghetti code or making wildly incorrect assumptions. It ensures the AI truly understands your intent before it starts writing code.
Makes sense. Additionally, it's highly effective to break down large features or complex problems into small, single-step prompts. Avoid overwhelming the AI with too much at once.
Like guiding a junior dev.
Exactly, step by step, through a complex task.
Yeah.
It's also vital to maintain long chat contexts. Wherever possible, avoid starting new chat sessions. Preserving that ongoing context allows the AI to learn from your previous interactions, understand your project better, and therefore improve its performance and relevance over time.
Keep the thread going.
And don't shy away from visual aids. Attach screenshots of UI bugs you're encountering or desired design mockups. The AI can often see what you're seeing, leading to much more accurate fixes and implementations based on those visual cues.
Okay, good tips. When it comes to testing and guardrails, though, you must remember that AI, in its eagerness to be helpful, loves to make big, sweeping changes sometimes.
Yeah, it can be overenthusiastic.
Totally. So implement test-driven development, TDD, from day one if you can. Write your tests before the code. Use proper environments, development, staging, production to isolate changes and prevent errors from reaching users.
Separation is key.
Enable CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment with staging environments that mirror production. And crucially, push your code to GitHub often, using branches for new features or fixes. These practices are really non-negotiable for managing the AI's output, catching errors early, and preventing costly mistakes from reaching your users or derailing your solo venture.
Sound development practices become even more important with AI involved. Transitioning into monetization strategies, the core principle remains incredibly simple, yet profoundly powerful. People will pay good money if you genuinely resolve a pain point, save them significant time, or directly help them make more money.
That's the bedrock.
This fundamental understanding is your compass for building truly profitable applications.
The most direct path to profitability for a solo founder often lies in building micro SaaS or highly niche apps. Our sources consistently emphasize creating specific banger niche apps.
Banger niche apps. Love it.
that address a clear, unmet market need. When you nail that specific solution for a defined audience, users will be more than willing to pay a premium. Think about agent-based solutions for something like optimizing shift scheduling for small retail businesses, or maybe a niche content creation tool specifically for legal professionals to draft contracts using AI.
Very specific problems.
Right. These aren't broad, general tools. They solve a very specific problem for a very specific user, and those users will pay for that solution.
And the ultimate goal, what provides true stability and growth for solo entrepreneurs, should always be recurring revenue, ideally through subscription model.
The holy grail, recurring revenue.
Exactly. The power of compounding here is immense. An app earning even a modest $5 to $100 a month per user can, with consistent growth, compound significantly over time, potentially scaling to millions a year in revenue eventually.
It adds up.
The value of these digital assets is immense because they offer scalable, recurring revenue streams without the physical overhead typically associated with traditional businesses. This makes them exceptionally attractive for solo entrepreneurs seeking financial freedom and impact.
Finally, understanding that delicate balance between AI operational cost and the value you deliver is absolutely critical right now. AI models are getting more expensive.
That $20 era is gone.
Gone. Our sources project that heavy users could be looking at costs potentially reaching $2,000 a month in the not-too-distant future.
Wow, $2 a month just for AI tooling.
Yeah. This means you need to strategically prioritize building a business that can not only support these increasing costs, but also deliver sufficient value to your users to justify them. Or, alternatively, you need to strategically leverage cheaper models, maybe fine-tune open-source solutions, or even explore local deployment to keep your operational expenses manageable while maximizing your earning potential.
It's a constant optimization game. Balancing cost and value?
Constant.
Okay, let's shift gears and talk about marketing your app as a solo founder. Because a brilliant product, no matter how technically superb, won't generate revenue if no one knows it exists.
Build it, and they will come. Doesn't usually work.
Rarely. Marketing isn't an afterthought. It must be an integral, ongoing part of your product development from the very first idea.
So where do you start? Start by meticulously identifying your user hubs. Figure out exactly where your ideal users spend their time online. Are they active on specific subreddits, on Twitter, engaging in certain hashtags, lurking in niche Discord channels, or perhaps on platforms like indie hackers?
Go where they are.
Exactly. Once you know their watering holes, don't just drop links to your product. That's the fastest way to get ignored or even banned.
Spamming doesn't work.
No. Instead, contribute genuine value to conversations. Share lessons you've learned from your own development journey, give constructive feedback to others, answer questions genuinely. Then, naturally, when the moment feels right and your product truly solves a problem being discussed, introduce it as a solution, not just a blatant promotion.
Build relationships first. For high ROI marketing tactics, especially for solo founders with limited resources, short-form video on platforms like TikTok and Instagram offers massive viral potential.
Really? TikTok for SAWs?
Apparently, yes. And it provides incredibly quick feedback for idea validation. You can test a concept or a feature with a short demo video and get almost immediate signal from the audience. Reddit marketing also offers high viral potential.
How so on Reddit?
What's particularly fascinating and often overlooked here is that well-crafted comments on problem-solving threads, especially those that include a link to your product as a genuine solution, can drive significant long-term traffic from Google searches.
Ah, the SEO angle.
Exactly. People searching for solutions often land on these Reddit discussions years later, and if your thoughtful comment with a relevant product link is there, it can be a continuous source of high-intent traffic for months or even years.
That's a great tip. When it comes to your app's landing page itself, keep the elements clear, concise, and compelling. You need a crystal clear headline that immediately grabs attention.
So come fast.
Followed by a subheading that reinforces the specific problem your app solves. Always include a visual, or even better, a short video demo. This shows, rather than just tells, what your app does and its benefits.
Show, don't tell.
And critically, from day one, feature any early testimonials or reviews you can gather. These build immediate trust and social proof, which are vital for converting visitors into paying users.
Social proof is huge.
Speaking of videos, our sources emphasize the power of 30 to 60-second demo videos. They are incredibly effective at showing what your app does and why it matters, conveying value far faster and more engagingly than paragraphs of text.
Short and sweet. And remember, your earliest users are, in essence, your founding team. Treat them as such. Listen intently to their feedback, prioritizing it not just by how often it's mentioned, but by its feasibility to implement and its potential impact on user value or revenue.
Be strategic about feedback.
Respond publicly to their comments, bug reports, and suggestions. This transparent engagement not only helps you rapidly improve your product, but also builds immense loyalty and community momentum in ways that are hard to fake with traditional marketing.
They become advocates.
Your most passionate advocates, exactly.
Okay, now, for some final strategic considerations and maybe a glimpse into the accelerating future for solo entrepreneurs. First, a vital and often overlooked point: data privacy with AI tools.
Oh yeah, this is important.
Be acutely aware that any data you input or process via large AI providers might be stored on their servers and potentially replicated worldwide. This means it could be subject to different privacy laws than where you or your users are located.
Data sovereignty issues.
Precisely. Our sources highlight that some companies may not be transparent about their data residency or processing practices, and you absolutely need to be mindful of regulations. For example, some governments require local data residency and may have broad access rights to data sitting in their data centers. That's a significant consideration for your app's privacy policy and building user trust.
Definitely something to investigate for any tool you use. The AI field is still very much in a gold rush phase, isn't it? Evolving at an absolutely incredible pace.
Feels like it changes daily.
New, more powerful models like the rumored ChatGPT-5 are constantly emerging, with predictions of them being maybe 100 times more powerful than previous iterations like GPT-4.
Mind-boggling potential.
This rapid advancement means that continuous learning and adaptability are not just beneficial, but almost existential for solo developers now. You have to stay on top of these changes to remain competitive.
But here's the incredibly exciting part, I think. AI agents are genuinely predicted to level the playing field in business. They are set to unlock unprecedented opportunities for anyone with vision and innovative ideas.
Regardless of their background.
Regardless of their existing network, access to capital, or even geographical location. The fundamental demand for software is immense, with what our sources describe as a massive deficit of supply.
More demand than developers can handle.
Way more. This means AI-powered tools will continue to be absolutely crucial for developers to efficiently address the world's myriad needs. The future, as described, involves true superintelligence and sophisticated AI squads, highlighting a profound shift where AI will not replace human capabilities, but instead massively amplify them.
Allowing solo developers to achieve what once required vast teams and resources, the force multiplier effect.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it should be crystal clear, hopefully, that success for solo developers and freelancers in this dynamic AI era means combining deep technical proficiency, especially in Python, with astute strategic tool utilization.
Knowing which tool and when.
Right. It requires you to cultivate a sharp problem-solving mindset, focusing relentlessly on user value, and to embrace continuous iteration based on real-world feedback.
Okay, so this is a call to action perhaps, but also maybe a provocative thought for you, our listener, to chew on. The age of free AI is rapidly coming to an end, and AI coding is becoming significantly more expensive.
The trend is clear.
What started as that whimsical $20 a month vibe coding experience is now escalating, with costs potentially reaching $200 a month for serious users, or maybe even $2,000 for heavy enterprise-level solo founders in the near future.
A major business expense.
This economic reality demands that developers like you be incredibly adaptable, deeply understand these evolving cost structures, and actively champion and root for open-source AI solutions to ensure continued access and innovation for everyone.
Keep the playing field level.
Yeah. The question isn't if you'll integrate AI into your development workflow anymore. It's how strategically you'll leverage these powerful yet increasingly costly AI tools to not just build, but truly monetize your creations in this rapidly changing landscape. What stands out to you from today's deep dive, and how will you apply these insights to build your profitable digital properties and stay ahead of the curve?
Lots to think about there. We truly can't wait to see what you build with these insights.
Thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We'll catch you next time.